have never seen a human being like LaNorris Sellers on a football field do what he did to kids that I'm familiar with.
I know he's a big party guy, just a rah-rah guy.
Shots fired. I looked over at Demo and I'm like, we got a shot with this kid.
Like LSU this year was probably the loudest I've heard it. I would say the Kentucky game last year was, like, I couldn't talk to the person beside me on the sideline.
Hey, Tailgaters. Glad you guys are joining us for episode 12 here of Tailgate Talks with DeMarco and Garcia. We have a guest this week that Stephen knows a little about and had similar experiences with him. I guess not as controversial yet. But we had QB1 LaNorris Sellers on this week.
Yeah, man. I'll tell you what, he was a pleasure to talk to. And yeah, I mean, you talk about a kid as young as he is with his head on his shoulders. I was not wanting to be an engineer. I had no idea what the hell I wanted to do at his stage in life. And, to hear him say that, and I think it resonates with, our first two guests with Luke Doty and Boogie, man. Like these kids, Coach Beamer's got these kids, their heads on their shoulders. They kind of know what they want to accomplish. And I mean, that was a very cool interview to get a chance to know LaNorris, on a more personal level.
Yeah, I mean, you can sense the structure of what Coach Beamer's building in those individuals that we had the pleasure to talk with. And LaNorris, we talked about it a bunch. He's going to be a very successful quarterback here at South Carolina. He's having a great season as a redshirt freshman. So no, I'm extremely excited, and I mean, what a week to kind of tee up. I mean, we're going into a couple of our teammates are getting inducted into the Hall of Fame this weekend. Melvin Ingram and Pharaoh Cooper, two Gamecock football players, getting inducted. Playing Texas A&M, who's ranked 10 in the country, in Williams-Brice Stadium, night game. Last time they were here at night, Xavier Legette shoved it 102 yards right up there. You know what? So this is going to be a great episode, not only from getting to hear from LaNorris and all the excitement there and what he's bringing to the program, but it should lean into a very fun weekend, celebrating former teammates and also cheering on the Gamecocks to a victory this weekend.
Yeah, man, they got their hands full. You're looking at A&M in the beginning of the year, you didn't think they were going to be, worth it, to be honest with you. They got this new quarterback, the freshman kid Reed. I think he's a hell of a player.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you've seen him play. That kid is shifty as
Yep.
but he's gonna have a hard time, man. We got arguably the best defensive front in college football. We got one of the best defenses in general.
Yep.
So he's gonna have his hands full, especially playing in front of whatever it is, 90,000 now at Willy-B. So it's gonna be a hell of a game, and I'm super excited to be up there for it.
Yeah, night game at Willy-B. Played in the NFL, playing with a lot of guys. They said the atmosphere is unlike any other. It's one of the hardest places for people to play. So, tailgaters, Gamecock fans, show up on Saturday. Be loud, be rowdy, give them hell. I hope you guys enjoy this episode.
Stephen and I are here with LaNorris Sellers, bye week here. First off, proud of you. South Carolina boy, staying home. You've had a heck of a season so far. We're 7 games in. Steve and I have joked around, but we're a couple plays away from being 6-1. I'm sure as you know it as well. But you embody everything that us former players love about this university. How hard you play, how gritty you are, all the prep work you do. So first off, we want to say thank you for representing the university the way you do in the Block C. Us old heads, it means a lot, especially in today's era where kids are transferring and running all over the place. To see a South Carolina boy come in here, be committed to this place, it's been really cool to see. So thank you.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I'll tell you what, Pat, you look tiny compared to him.
Yeah, I mean, he's bigger than me. Thanks. I'm not playing football anymore, though. So, but, I mean, I was the smallest guy when I was in Atlanta, I was the smallest guy in the huddle when we were in 21 personnel. Matt Ryan, Steven Jackson, Julio Jones, and Roddy White were the skill position players. I was the smallest guy.
At fullback?
Yeah, I was the smallest guy at fullback in the huddle. Tony Gonzalez was the tight end. Pretty badass group.
That's some big boys, man. I'll tell you what, Pat, you mentioned that he's a South Carolina kid. Is he the first guy that we've had that's from South Carolina that's on this show?
On the show,
All right, I guess Luke Doty's from Myrtle Beach
yeah,
area, right?
Luke's from Myrtle Beach, and Boogie was born up in Maryland, but he grew up here. So yeah, first SC guy. Let's go.
How you enjoying the off week so far?
I'm enjoying it. I mean, you still got class and stuff, but today was my last day. Yesterday was my last day of classes, so I mean, I'm pretty much off.
Walk us through what, I guess, bye week. Obviously, the rest and recovery this weekend. You're going to get away from it. You're going to disengage as you should. But we've talked a little bit about it, but I want to hear it from your perspective. What's bye week practice like?
All right, so we usually do like shorter practices, but it's still like we still get some good work in.
Mm-hmm.
So this week we practiced Tuesday and Wednesday. We did just the basics of like ball security. We introduced Texas A&M. We had some scout periods, 7-on-7, some competition stuff, 1-on-1s. Just like really the basics, but it's still good work. We still out there, I think like an hour 30, hour 45. So we did that Tuesday, Wednesday, and then they gave us the rest of the week off. So, but we still got class responsibilities and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
No, it's Coach Beamer was here when we were here back like 100 years ago. He was the DB's coach and then transitioned to special teams coordinator. So we know him. He's a hard ass.
Yeah.
He likes to get after it. He likes to work. So it's cool to see from your perspective, like there is the intense periods and the get better periods, but he's also mindful of it's week 7 or week 8 of an SEC schedule, 5 games left. So good. Like I remember when I would have a bye week in the NFL, we'd crank it up early in the week, and then I would go get away. I would walk, and that would be the extent of my exercise to go get away from it. So hopefully you're able to get away from it this weekend for a little bit.
Man, I can't believe they make a QB1 go to class.
It's a different era.
Yeah, I mean, that's wild, man. Good for you for going, dude. It's a lot different.
Man.
It's a lot different these days.
All right. Well, let's get the
I was
elephant
gonna
out of the
ask,
room.
I know, Pat, you were going to ask this, down the road, but while we're talking about class and everything, what's your major?
sports management.
Okay.
Sports manager. Okay, nice.
And then, so after you have a long NFL career, what do you want to do? What does LaNorris Sellers want to do? It's been one of the things that we want to highlight, what former players are doing now. And then we've talked to Luke and Boogie about kind of what their aspirations are moving forward. What do you want to do after you play in the NFL, do all these different things? Like, what do you want to do when LaNorris Sellers is old and fat like Stephen and I?
So I want to pursue something in architecture.
Okay.
I took a class in like the 5th grade. We drew like a house design, and ever since then I've always wanted to do that. We don't have an architecture program here, but like that's something I want to do.
Well, I'm in the real estate space, and we have 7 or 8 architect groups that we work with that I could very easily connect you with. That would be a pretty cool internship opportunity or something this summer, next summer, whenever you want to do it. Just you got my number, give me a holler. But we want to help you guys out and kind of further your lives going forward. But let's get the elephant out of the room. Where the hell are the goggles?
So I still have the goggles. They're in my locker. I think I got a pair in my locker. I got a pair at home, and then our trainers carry a pair with them everywhere they go.
Okay.
So I was going back and forth with them just during practice, and then one day I was just like, I just want to try contact just because. And then so I wore contacts like the LSU week I wore goggles up until like Wednesday. Thursday I brought the contacts out, and then Friday I was like, I might as well try my practice in Thursday. So it's like I just stuck with them ever since.
You're leaving a lot of money on the table, you know that, right?
I know. I'll go back and forth. I keep saying I'm gonna go back and forth, but like I'm gonna try it again sometime this season. Don't know when.
I hear you. Man, it's like Anthony Davis with the unibrow. Like, I mean, there's just certain things that stick out, and even friends from Florida, friends from Buffalo, New York would always text me like, "You guys got that quarterback with the goggles, right?" And I'm like, "You damn right we do."
I'm gonna pull him back out one game this season.
All right, so let's dive into. I mean, you had, like we highlighted earlier, you're from South Carolina. You went to West Florence.
South
Florence. You won state championship your senior year. I have some local friends here in Columbia. I guess you guys beat the Tar at AC Flora in the state semifinals.
Yeah.
And people are like, I have never seen a human being like LaNorris Sellers on a football field do what he did to kids that I'm familiar with. So you must have really flip some heads and shown the world what you can do in that game.
Shout out to Perry Worth. That's the local friend that you're referring to, I'm assuming, right?
Yep. Perry Worth was there. Garrett Anderson, Ivan Benag. We got a bunch of friends that coach up there. But, I mean, pretty interesting recruiting process because we didn't offer you till late. Mm-hmm. You were committed to Syracuse. Thank God you didn't make that mistake. I've spent 4 years in Buffalo, New York, and froze my ass off. So tell us about your recruiting process and ultimately why you decided to come here. Thank God you did.
Yeah. So I committed to first. I mean, some people know this, but I committed to Virginia like early my junior year. Mm-hmm. It was. I mean, it's pretty much my first visit. I enjoyed it. It was nice. Wasn't too far from home. It was like 3.5, 4 hours maybe. Mm-hmm. So it was like, I mean, I like the campus, I like the coach, so it was just like, why not? And then so I was committed to them for 6 months, and then the head coach, Bronco Mendenhall, stepped down.
Yep.
I'm trying to think where I was at. I think I was up here for the state championship game the year before. I think I played in there 2022, and then the state championship game in 2021, I was in Columbia when I found out he stepped down. So then they stepped down or whatever. Then they went up there to Syracuse, so it was just like, I mean, same coaching staff. I was already committed to them, so it's like, now the only difference was it's 12 hours away. Same coaching staff and everything, but it was just 12 hours away. So just being loyal to them, I committed to them, and then when it got time for me to actually, like, start packing, it's like, are you finna go 12 hours from home? I was like, I don't know if I want to do that. So then, like, they offered me, and then I was thinking about it, because I was always talking to them during my recruiting process, but they just never offered me. Mm-hmm. So once they offered me, it was like, okay, now I got something to think about. Then it got closer to me to leave, and it was like, well, maybe I don't actually want to go there. Mm-hmm. And so then, I mean, ultimately just made a decision to commit here.
You made a good decision, I'd say.
I definitely made a good decision.
I remember we sat in the quarterback's room when I was working at the university, and I gave you the NIL pitch, so I must have been the closer. They brought me in to reel him in. All right, tell us, I mean, you're from the state. We're going to kind of put you on the spot here. Tell us about the history of the quarterback position at South Carolina.
So I've met a good bit of quarterbacks. I mean, obviously I know Steven, Connor Shaw, Tommy Suggs usually here a good bit, Steve Tannehill, Todd Ellis, Perry Orth, like you said. So, I mean, I know a good bit about them. Not like into too much detail. I know like they were good, obviously, but like not into too much detail. I know he's a big party guy, just rah-rah guy.
Shots fired.
That's right.
Connor Shaw, I know he's never lost a game here, and then you know the other guys. So it's like Jay Urich.
Anthony Wright was here. He had a decent NFL career. No, you got a big shoes to fill coming in here at South Carolina and playing at a high level. Shoes to fill. Spencer Rattler was just here. Yeah. Starting in the NFL now. Tell us about your development under him, what it meant to have someone like him as a freshman going from playing high school ball into the SEC, what Spencer meant to your development.
He meant a lot, just because, like you said, he played a lot of ball. He's been at Oklahoma before, was in like the Heisman contention for a while, first round draft pick. But just being around him, to seeing the way he prepared himself, to see how serious he took it and everything, it was just good for me to see. Like, I came in here not having anything to worry about because, I mean, he was our starter.
Well, and also you were bigger, stronger, faster than everybody on the field when you were in high school. And you come here and you're like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
Defensive ends can run me down. This isn't cool anymore.
So, I mean, just watching him practice, watching him work, watching him play in the games, like, he never got frustrated. Like, he was always just this cool, calm, collected guy. Knew everything, knew what to do, knew what to expect, like, the right thing to do. So, I mean, it was just, I'm glad to have him in the room.
He has some quarterback questions for you. Why don't you reel some of these QB questions off that you're going to pepper?
Yeah, I
him
mean,
with?
I think first and foremost, kind of going at it, you just mentioned, preparing, and, you saw Spencer Rattler kind of how serious he took it. What is the difference, in your opinion, from like the high school playbook to Dowell Loggins? Like, how different is that playbook?
So, I mean, high school is really just like, I don't want to say no detail, but it's just like, all right, on this play, you got this route, this route, and this route. So you're just telling 4 different guys like 4 different routes. But here it's just like you have this route at this depth, like you got to run it at this speed, just because where they at the progressions and stuff, and then like
Right.
the details matter, and it's just like if it's man, you got to run it this way. If it's zone, you got to run it this way. Or if it's like tempo 2, you need to sit in the zone rather than just taking it through the zone.
Right.
So
This
the
is
details.
all shit that you did not know when you were in college. You knew some of it, but it
So-
is crazy
so-
the development. I mean, we talked about playing under Coach Spurrier versus now. Like Spurrier kept stuff really simple. I mean, I'll let him speak more on it because I was just a fullback.
Going from Jefferson High School to Spurs playbook, it was like learning freaking Chinese, man.
Yep.
I agree.
I mean, but so give me. I want to hear. Give me a play call. Like, what's your favorite play right now?
Let's see. I mean, kind of put me on the spot here.
Has to be pass game, can't be run game.
So let's see. Last week we had like.
And boy,
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, man, that would have taken me a while to spit that out. I mean, obviously you get more comfortable with it. And I think that's something I wanted to tell you, and I tell you this off the camera too, man. I'm extremely proud of your development, and I know a lot of these armchair quarterbacks and these fans that don't have a clue what it's like being behind center. Uh, I think you're progressing unbelievably compared to their first start against ODU. Are you seeing the field differently? Is it slowing down for you now that you got like what is it, 8 games under your belt now? Like kind of walk us through like that first start against ODU to where you're at now.
It is a lot different from. I mean, I know the difference between ODU and the Kentucky game. So I knew it was gonna be hard, just cause like Spence, D'Lo, and all them used to preach me like, hey, like you did what you did last year, your freshman year, going into the games, like in the games or whatever. Like it's not gonna be like that. You're not gonna go out there and score
No.
every play, be 100% completion rate and stuff like that. So I was just like, yeah, all right, like I hear you, whatever. And then I actually went out there and it was like, just all you seen was colors flashing and just like people in your face and like, so I mean I had to get used to that, but once I got like into the groove of everything, like got a couple completions, took a couple hits, it was like, all right, it's still just football. Like same game I played when I was 5 till now, just bigger, faster, stronger guys. So I mean that's just how I take it.
Yeah, yeah, man. I remember my first start was against freaking LSU, and they just won the national championship. And I remember going out there and I was like, "Holy, what am I doing here, man? These guys are freaking quick." But yeah, like you mentioned, man, it was you get a few completions early, and I ran the ball a lot back then. You get hit a few times, kind of knock the cobwebs off, and the game just kind of slows down. And I mean, as I mentioned earlier, man, I just watching you, you can definitely tell like the game is slowing down for you, and you just feel you look a little bit more comfortable with your pocket presence and keeping your eyes down range, man. I mean, I'm super optimistic about your future. I think you're going to be a hell of a quarterback at this university.
we're glad you're in the garnet and black and not in the what would be navy and orange. But I don't know if you remember this, but I was still working on staff when you got here for 2 or 3 months, and then I stepped away. But your first practice, I think your first ever like team reps were 7-on-7.
Yeah.
Your first pass.
Oh yeah.
You
I
threw an
know
interception.
Yeah, I did.
And I'm a nerd. I'm a weirdo. I like go into psychology a lot when it comes to football because like you have to be mentally strong. You were unfazed, and I remember I might have been standing next to Demo or somebody talking, and like you didn't blink, nothing. I'm like, I saw the interception, then my eyes went locked straight on you. I wanted to see how you were going to respond. I'm getting goosebumps. Like you were so stoic in that situation, just like, okay, next play, give me the next play, let's go. I'm gonna make up for this. And I was like, I looked over at Demo, and I'm like, we got a shot with this kid.
Yeah, I still talk to D'Lo about that play actually, because I remember it was 7-on-7. I know it was 7-on-7. That was my first teammate, but in one-on-ones, it was the I think I threw a pick in one-on-ones, and you usually get like 4 to 5 reps in a row, and it was like my first rep again, and I threw a pick, and D'Lo was like, "It's not high school anymore, buddy. Get out." Like,
welcome.
And he just took me out and routes was there, and I was just like, dang. And that was just that. But
Yeah,
that's how D'Lo was like.
Yeah, I want to talk about your relationship with Dal too. Like, I know he's hard. He has a pedigree. I mean, he played at Arkansas, was in the NFL for over a decade, was at Arkansas, spent some time at Penn State. Like, he knows his shit.
Yeah.
Talk about, but I also know he doesn't sugarcoat stuff. He's a very direct coach, which, I mean, as a player, I love direct. Like, tell me what I'm doing right, what I'm doing wrong. I'm a big boy.
Yeah.
Shoot me straight. So tell us about your relationship with him.
So I love D-Lo, first of all. Like, when they recruit me or whatever, he wasn't on staff when they first offered me. So I remember just me being at the Shrine Bowl, I was just talking to him, like, pretty much every day. He was calling in, checking on me, checking on my family and everything. So pretty much ever since then, it was kind of like, I mean, I just kind of like locked in with him. And then once I got on campus and he didn't change. So it's like, so that stuck out to me. Then same thing with my family, like they noticed it too. He cares more about you like as a player, like he cares about you like as a man, like as a man, as a husband, and everything. So I mean that stuck out to me obviously. And then like just the way he coached, like he's a funny guy. He's serious. He can get serious, like, and then he'll say stuff like he has like slick comments, stuff all the time. And meetings on the practice field and stuff, like he's quick to he never threw Spencer out of practice, but he used to throw me out of practice just like he used to throw me out of practice for stuff like Spence used to do. So like, but I was just fine. I was a freshman, youngest in the room, so it was like he had to make an example out of somebody and get it.
Setting a precedent on, and I think a lot of people, even in the youth, like kids don't like being coached hard, and coaches kind of push those buttons and work you hard because they know what's in there and they know how to get it out of you. So I think I'm going to echo what Steven said. I think you have an incredible future. Only here at the University of South Carolina, you're not allowed to go anywhere else.
Yeah.
And then on to the NFL. I think the sky's the limit for you as you continue to progress and develop in like each rep in practice, each rep in games, each year as you stack them in. You're like, you're going to skyrocket. I'm excited to watch it, dude.
For sure. I got a question, man. Like, what do you do for fun? Like, what does QB1 do for fun?
What do you
Columbia,
do
South
for
Carolina?
fun, Steven? What did you do for fun?
I think it's well documented what I did for fun, and I got 2 kids to prove it. But yeah, like what does QB1 do for fun in Columbia?
So usually during the off season, like during the summer we was here, we didn't have really much to do. So I was pretty much always like golfing.
Okay.
So
we
I
go.
golf. And then, or I'll just usually just like sit around the house, hang out with some of the like teammates on the team and stuff, just like watch football, just talk, just kill time, honestly. It wasn't really much to do here. Like I went on a fishing trip for the first time, I think this summer. I think that was this summer. It was sometime before the season. But like I did fishing. I did a lot of stuff for the first time this summer that I haven't. So just trying to see
How's your golf game?
It's all right. I mean, I haven't played in a while. Last time I went, I think it was like after fall camp. We had like a little week off, and I went for the first time like since the summer, and it was bad.
You breaking 100?
I can break 100.
Okay. I'd say
You got to get with that guy to your left. You got to get with that guy to your left and get some. You got to get with that guy to your left and get some pointers.
I'll give you a few lessons.
Good golf. Good golfer.
Take you out to. I'm like a 3 or 4 handicap. So I shoot anywhere from 70 to 80
Yeah,
consistently.
that is pretty good.
We got Letterman Golf Tournament coming up here in 3 weeks, and Big Steve, he's going to be carrying the team.
Yeah, is it? Do you subtract score on how many beers you drink? Is that kind of how?
Was that why you why you say you shoot in the 70s all the time? Did you drink 15 beers? So 92 is.
It definitely helps. That's for damn sure.
All right. Well, college football is different now than when we were here. I was explaining to you, we were over in the stadium. We didn't have this beautiful building.
Yeah.
The proving grounds, the goat track right across the street where we used to practice. We thought it was really cool. Now you got this place. I was explaining to you where you got recruited in the little lounge upstairs. That was our old meeting room, and you're like, "What? How did they do that?" I was explaining to you that the Cockaboose Club was our old weight room. I was explaining to you that the players' lounge outside of the stadium locker room. Used to be our training room. And you're like, how did they do all that in there? Needless to say, we got $45 a weekend, and we thought we were rich when we were in college.
That's if we got $45. That's if we went to every class, if we didn't miss a meal. I mean, I remember Reed McCollum he owed like $300 because that 1 week. Remember that?
Yeah, so I
but
mean,
go on.
you probably get the same, maybe like $40 a weekend to go have a good time. So like, is the struggle real like it was for us?
Say we're a little bit more fortunate now.
There's no kickback. We're too old to get any of the kickback. It wasn't 10. If you played within 10 years of when NIL was introduced, you got a kickback. And Steven and we got a good old high five.
Yeah, some bull.
More on that. I mean, Steven and I, Steven, you had a Ferrari, you had a Range Rover.
Whoa, what?
We had two F-150s that had probably 100,000 miles on them. You do too, right?
Nah, I don't. Not a 450, nah.
No?
So, Dick Dyer, fortunate enough to get a car from them for, I signed with agency, Equity Sports with Selwyn, like Chris Cabot, those guys, same guy Spencer had. And so, Spencer had the G-Wagon, he had a Mercedes as well. So, I mean, pretty much signed the same contract with Dick Dyer, so shout out to them for that, appreciate them for that. But it was brand new, 0 miles when I got it, so.
Yeah, that's
Must be nice, man. Must be nice.
Think they got an extra one laying around for a couple old has-beens? Can you reach out, inquire for us?
Wouldn't hurt to ask.
Yeah, doesn't hurt to ask.
I'll tell you what, Pat. I'm actually looking at the F1, the gold F-150. It's not gold anymore. I did the rhino paint on the whole thing. I'm looking at it right now. It still drives like a dream, man.
Miles on it.
Still drives like a dream, man.
Love it. All right. You're 7 games in. I guess we've had 4 home games, 3 away games. Tell us about Willy-B. Tell us about what it's like. I mean, running out in 2001. Give us the whole shebang.
So, I mean, still get chills from running out 2001, just with the fire, smoke, the fans and everything, all the towels and stuff. Remember the ODU game is when I really first felt like dang, it's real. Last year I was just running out there. It wasn't just anything crazy. I mean, it was crazy, but for me, it was just I'm not playing. So it's but actually playing in it, the fans, it's loud. It's loud. LSU this year was probably the loudest I've heard it. I would say the Kentucky game last year was, I couldn't talk to the person beside me on the sideline. So I know Tennessee was loud the year before that, but Kentucky was the loudest game, and then LSU this year was pretty loud too.
LSU was nuts.
Yeah.
I mean, I was down on the sideline for the first half, and that was the most electric I had experienced since we beat Alabama in 2010 when they were number 1 in the country. Okay. It was electric. It was I'm sitting there and I'm looking around. I'm like, dang, we're trending. We're trending. We're trending.
I mean, Pat, I remember texting in that group text with you and Dakota, and I was like, man, what's Williams-Brice? What is it like right now? We need some sort of spark. And then LaNorris takes off. What was it, 76 yards or whatever it was? I was like, yeah, that's a pretty good spark right there.
What was your longest run? 7 yards?
I don't know, to be honest with you.
It wasn't 76 though.
7 yards in a cloud of dust.
Oh man.
That brings me to a question though. I gotta ask you, man, because you're what, 250, right?
No, I'm 235.
All right. Well,
Steve's
at 6'3", 235. Why in God's name are you sliding?
So I mean, yeah, that is a good question. Honestly, don't know. Honestly, don't know. Sometimes when I do it, I just get up and it's you can just tell by the DB's demeanor, the DBs or anybody's demeanor is they actually don't want to attack you. But just
they
me being I'm the quarterback, I gotta protect myself. But it's
you could hurt people.
Yeah, I feel but it's kind of like in high school I never slid because my coach always told me you're more vulnerable to get hurt if you slide, give yourself up. If they still hit you, rather than if you protect
Yep.
yourself. But it's like, my mindset is like, I'm young, I'm in college, these guys are bigger, faster, and stronger. So if they hit me, if I take too many of these hits, like, it probably won't end up good for me. But it's like,
It's an even matchup now.
it's the same thing. So it's like, I might as well just take a couple hits here and there. But
Yeah. Well, if you watch this, if you ever watch any tape of this moron, tried to run over defensive ends, defensive tackles, and successfully ran over safeties, linebackers, jumped over them.
I've always said it, man. Sliding is for DMs and for baseball. That's the only time you should slide.
I'll take that into account.
He'll let D'Lo know that.
I was also 250, so I outweighed pretty much every single
Everybody,
linebacker
yeah.
that we played against.
All right, who do you model your game after? Obviously you had Spencer.
Mm-hmm.
You're like a half a foot taller than Spencer.
Yeah.
A little bit faster. Obviously you saw him play, but I'm sure when you were growing up, you were watching guys in college and the NFL. Like, who do you model your game after?
So Cam Newton was my favorite quarterback growing up. Watched him at Auburn when he got drafted to Carolina.
No, not Cam Newton. Jesus Christ.
So, I don't really know, like, what it was about him, but it's just, like, it was the first quarterback that I've seen. It was just like, dang, like, he's actually pretty good. And, he won the Heisman. He had that crazy year. And he got drafted.
We know about that year.
He had that crazy year at our expense.
All too well.
Y'all played him twice that year. I remember, yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately. We played them the first time at Auburn.
Mm-hmm.
Was it the first play of the game or like the third play of the game where he broke the 80-yarder on Q power?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Right up the gut.
He dove from like the 20-yard line.
Yeah.
I remember that distinctly.
That's a pretty good guy to model your game after. He was, in college, was an absolute stud, had an incredible NFL career. When I was playing in Atlanta, we had to play against Carolina twice a year. That was not fun. He's just but I can see it because you have the arm, you can make all the throws, you also have the legs, you have the playmaking ability outside the pocket. I think that is as you continue to develop and continue to get better and continue to get these reps, I see it. I see it. Steve, you want to do this new segment? I know he's got to go. He's got an NIL deal coming up here in a little bit. So do you want to do this?
No, we can absolutely. I got a quick question though.
Yep.
Perry Orth wanted me to ask you, and I think it's actually a really good question. He said, ask him what it's like to play against a two top 15 starts in your first 5 games in your career.
Oh, wow, yeah.
I just always had the mindset, like, just like, whoever played, it don't matter. It's like, it's just another team, just another game. Obviously it's a good team, good defenses, but, like, if you do everything right, or, if you give your effort, like, stuff will work out for itself. Or maybe it won't, but, like, it's just another team, just another football game. That's just how I always approach big games.
That's
the only way you should. That's the only way you should approach it, honestly.
Shoot, before we go to the segment, give your defense some credit.
Yeah, 100%, yeah.
The defense we have this year, obviously you're used to playing against them in practice, training camp, all the time now, but how much has that helped with your development?
A lot. Pretty much all the same, like, interceptions that other quarterbacks throw against us, like, I've thrown the same ones in practice. Like, yeah, they got me on that too. So it's like, but like last week, like, they spotted us 21. Like, I was on the sideline. We went out there that drive. They got to pick the first play, and then we went out there and scored, and it was just like, then they got another one. Then they got another one. So it was just like, I was fine with it. Like,
can you get the ball off? Like, teams can't complete passes against us because our defensive line, coached by Travian, Big Trey, who played with us, who's in our recruiting class.
Yeah, our defensive line and offensive line has had, like, good competition days. Like, some days, like, they could just single-handedly, like, ruin practice if they felt like it. So it's like, that's just how teams are. Like, you go out there, you compete, you play against each other, like, during fall camp, like, during the summer stuff, and then you go out there in game, you can play against somebody else.
Yeah.
And you see the same things in practice that you see in the game. So it's like, what we see is like nothing new. Like we always knew.
Goes into what Ace said on our last episode, iron sharpens iron, and the way you practice,
Yep.
that makes the games easy, makes the games fun. What you got,
Yeah.
Steven? Any more quarterback stuff?
I think I'm reading your little rapid fire segment. These are some interesting questions.
Tuh.
Yeah, well, we haven't had a current player on since preseason, so I wanted to make things interesting a little bit, and I think the fans will like to kind of learn about this stuff too.
All right. So who's your funniest, or who's the funniest teammate?
I mean, we got a lot of funny guys. We have Jared Brown from Coastal, receiver that came in this year. Reed McKeska, like, you wouldn't think he's funny, but if you got to know him, like I came in with him, so he's like, I think he's top 5 funniest on the team.
Okay.
JT Gear, Bradley Dunn, Eric Rice is another funny one. So, I mean, just a lot of different personalities. Nicky Mawari is actually funny too, like the comments and stuff that he's make. Like y'all know Boogie, like
It's always good to have those guys in the locker room, man.
Boogie's a smart aleck.
Yeah.
He has all the little one-liners. All right, who's the smartest guy on the team?
Ryan Brubaker is
Brew?
the smartest guy. Yeah,
Brew, he's from Pennsylvania.
think so.
Yeah,
Maybe.
he's. I remember, I think on his official visit, he was like, we're giving him tours of the university and stuff, and he's like, "Can we stop in the engineering building? Can we stop in this building? Can we stop in this building?" I'm like, "Sure." You're up.
Who's the strongest teammate?
Nick Barrett, by far. I think he squatted
By
like
far, wow.
650 something, and then he benched like 450, 500 pounds, something like that.
He's a
Good
horse.
God.
Yeah.
He is a complete horse. All right, on a similar note, who's the slowest guy on the team?
You mean slowest like running or slowest like?
We can go both. Who's the slowest guy running, and then who eats crayons?
Slowest guy running, let's see, I would have to say probably is, I'm going to just go over this off the top of my mind. I seen Dante scramble out of the pocket yesterday, and then Wendell Gregory could not catch him.
Okay.
So I'm going to have to go Wendell, probably slowest on the
So Dante is not a burner either. You're saying?
He's not a burner, but he can get away, obviously. He got away from Wendell, so I mean. Let's see, and then other slowest. I ain't gonna answer. I ain't gonna throw nobody under the buses. We all
That's a good teammate. That's a good teammate.
We all have a head scratching moment sometimes.
Oh man, that's a good response, man. A good PC response. Who's the sleepiest?
Dylan Stewart.
Dylan,
Yeah.
got to keep him awake. Sunflower
Always
seeds or
sleeping.
elbows or
Yeah, always sleeping. Like during like breakfast, lunch, it's like he's always just seems tired.
Well, he's just resting for Saturday. He has like 100 sacks. So I'm like, Dylan, keep resting up, dude. Keep resting
Yeah, I was
up.
about to say, yeah, keep resting, man, when you get a chance.
All right, who's
All right,
the
Pat, you up.
current teammate that you've learned the most from? You said you learned a lot from Spencer, but currently, who's helped you out the most?
Luke Doty.
Luke.
Ever since, like even during recruiting and when I first got on campus, he was still in the QB room and stuff. So even till this day, it's just like he's always there on the sideline. Like I'm going on the sideline. Like he's there. Like yo, like what'd you see? Like how'd you feel? Is everything good? Like oh, you had this right here, and then it's just like he's just always there. So even outside of football and stuff too, it's like Luke Doty's always there.
That's Luke's our guy.
Who's the Pat DeMarco in the locker room, the most responsible?
Most responsible, I'm gonna have to go Brady Hunt,
Okay.
tight end.
He's
transferred in.
he's married, right?
He is married.
Okay.
He's married. Brady Hunt.
All right. Well, on counterpart, who's the Garcia teammate? Who's the guy who gets in more trouble than he should in extracurricular activities?
Let's say Jimmy Francis. Y'all might not know Jimmy.
No, I don't
But
know
he's a walk-on quarterback from Texas.
Okay.
Just got in the room this year, freshman, and he is Steven Garcia.
Oh no! All right, we need to introduce him to some of the people that you relied on during your college time. We won't disclose those names. But some people
Shout
helped
out to
Steven
Vince.
get out of more trouble than he did get in, too, which is crazy.
Shout out to Village Idiot.
Shout out to Brian.
Jimmy Francis is our guy. I love Jimmy.
Have you been to Village Idiot?
Yes, I have.
Down in 5 Points?
Oh, not the one at 5 Points. I went to the one over there by Olympia.
Okay, that was our spot in
the
college.
spot.
We went there quite often to eat pizza, drink cold beer, extracurricular. So no, great spot. But
Absolutely.
echoing again, dude, we're super proud of you. We want to be respectful of your time and bye week. Appreciate you joining us. Look forward to last 5 games of the season and watching you continue to develop and having fun and kicking ass and taking names. Steven will be up next week for the A&M game, and then he'll be up 2 weeks after that for the Missouri game. So you'll see some of the extracurricular on the sideline, I'm sure.
Absolutely. Y'all better beat some ass, though.
We got you.
Yes, sir, man. Hey, again, I appreciate you, man. I'm proud of you, and I'm super optimistic and super excited to see how your career progresses at South Carolina. Nowhere else. At South Carolina,
Super.
for sure.
For sure. Appreciate you, dude.
Well,
Yeah,
hey,
appreciate you for having
yeah,
me.
man. Enjoy the bye week, man, and rest up and play some golf.
Yes, sir.